You're listening to The Roma Miclat Show.
Thank you for listening to Empowered, brought to you by the Roma Miclat Show. Happy Sunday! Or if you're listening on a weekday, we hope that you're having a wonderful week. Hey, Pat, how are you?
Hi, Roma. I am good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nothing to complain. So, how's everything? How's everything? Tell me.
Wow,
about it.
this week has been awesome. I've had great things coming in with work. And, last week I had a difficult time with my emotional self. And this week has been much better. So I'm so excited for that. And it's amazing how we still work, we get up, dress up and show up.
Yeah.
It's this quote by Regina Brett. I really like this quote and I've been living by it for quite a while. And after going through it this week, I can say that quote is a gem. It really does work for me.
What is that quote?
It says, no matter how you feel, wake up, dress up, and show up, by Regina Brett. Yeah.
So anxiety knocked your door this week.
Oh, yes. And even my appointment with Hello Little Anxiety didn't really work. It was like, give me attention throughout the day.
Yeah. Give me time, Patricia. Talk to me.
Let's talk about all the things that are not going well in your life this week.
Okay, she demanded some time from Patricia this week.
Major. But it was not bad, and it got better as the week unfolded. And I'm so glad that we are here at the weekend. And it's always lovely. I always do look forward to this time with you and with everyone who's listening in.
Me too. Yes. And on my side, well, by the way, my website is finally up. Yay!
I know, girl. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yay. MaryDuchess.com is giving way to my podcast, and it's now www.romamiclat.com. But don't worry, because everything will still be there. The makeup reviews, swatches, and all. The personal stories, it's just that now it's more focused on the podcast show. And well, I was redoing things. I didn't realize I have 4 shows. So how am I doing that? I also don't know. But
you're Superwoman. That's what it is.
But if you've got time, please visit romamiclat.com. That's ROMAMICLAT.com.
I'm so excited when I saw your Instagram post about the IGTV on the Roma Miclat show. I mean, RomaMiclat.com, right? That's your website.
Yes.
I was so excited. It looks so fancy. It's so you, Roma. I love it. It has Roma written all over it.
Thank you. I'm also excited because I feel that it's time for my podcast, for our podcast, for the show to have a new home. And so I feel that sometimes pictures and a complete detail of things or of the episode will help them decide which ones to listen to. So you can find those things on the website. So I hope it will help, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know. Let me know what you think about it. And so now moving on to our topic, what are we talking about, Pat? Oh my God, I'm dreading to ask the question because...
Well, Roma, thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you've given to me. Bracket, not feeling it as much as I want to.
That I've given you 2 hours before the recording time.
Yes. But I am honestly really excited to introduce this topic to us and to all our listeners. And you guys, we spoke and we started the Empowered series with the Can You Hear Me episode. And that we are going to be talking about the opposite of that, the opposite of hearing, which is listening. And today we are going to be discussing what that means to us. And you can also let us know your thoughts on it, whether you agree or disagree, or you'd like to add more things, because you know, your Sunday girls are all about talking about our experiences and our thoughts, and we love to hear your thoughts as well.
Yes, we always love to hear from our community that we didn't expect we will have, but we are very thankful for all of you guys because you make our days brighter, and that's why we still have this going on. It's getting stronger because of those comments and feedback that we get from you guys. It's really one of the best things that happened because of this podcast series. So yeah.
I agree, Roma, and I feel so empowered when our listeners and our friends, write back to us and express their thoughts on the episode, or let us know in the comments, their thoughts on the topic that we discussed for that week, or even previous ones, whenever you ever get the time to listen to it, that is. And I'm just so excited for what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, same. Actually, this has been unscheduled. It's just that we're trying to push it back a little, but now it's finally happening. And that's right. The Can You Hear Me is actually our first episode of Empowered, and we talked about not being heard. So now we will talk about listening. So what can you say, or what is your peace of mind when it comes to listening and paying attention?
Yeah. Going back to our very first episode, all of those moments of not being heard, it is an emotional moment. It takes us back to our childhood. We spoke about that. We spoke about our first job. We spoke about some of our friends who are not really listening to us. And that is the reason why we want to be heard. And the question should actually turn around to us as well. Are we listening to people, and are we hearing them out? And I think it's so important for me, especially when it comes to listening, and when it comes to having a relationship with my friends or my family members or even my clients. Whenever I'm not listening, I don't remember our conversation, girl. I'm preoccupied with something else. And I totally understand when people don't really listen to me because I know that something else is on their mind. Because when something else is on my mind, or if I'm bothered about something else or worried about work or, some personal things that are going on in my mind, it blocks me from actually paying full attention to whoever I'm having a conversation with. And since it's happened to me before, I know that it's not a good thing to do that. If your phone is distracting you, put it away. If your thoughts are distracting you, let's go back to your thoughts when you're alone. Right now, you and this person is what's important. And I also think that listening via texting is also a thing. Like, you could be texting multiple people at a time, and that way you will not have any clue what's going on in a particular conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm guilty to say that I have done that before, and it is bad. I do not recommend it.
It's like it's like you don't know what's going on, and all you have to send is ha 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 ha.
Yes, haha, or LOL, or or a smiley.
Yeah, you rely on emoticons, so
I know.
that's why
Emojis to save the day.
Yeah, they're lifesavers.
Yeah. Have you ever had any moments of, challenges with listening?
Yeah, I did. Actually, listening and paying attention. I feel that now it's harder because there are a lot of stimuli around us. And what you said, we have social media, we have the internet, and everything is within our reach, and we can stop scrolling and tapping our phones. We're always distracted. So, and for me, I see this topic in two ways. one is being present and the other one is paying attention. Now, to answer your
Mm.
question, if I've experienced it, yes, I did. How many times in the past that, and I'll be honest, of course, I get irritated when I talk to people and all they do is, nod their heads and but their fingers and the ears are almost glued to their phones. I really hate
Yeah.
it. Especially when you go for a meetup, because of course we are living abroad, so every time we have the chance to go back to the Philippines, we try to meet friends and catch up. But well, things happens, and sometimes even if you're just trying to have a conversation with them, it's like they're there physically but their minds are off somewhere else. So it's like, okay, why are we even doing this?
Yeah.
Because, and I also hate sometimes there are people who would ask questions, but then when you when you answer them, they're not even listening. So again, I haven't, that's a big issue for me. I'm like, girl, can we just stop pretending that you care? At times I find myself asking, why am I even here? Why am I even in this meetup? Because obviously, they don't intend to listen to what I'm saying. So where is the conversation in that? So those are my issues. And I mean, I get that we are all busy. Yeah, we understand. You said it earlier. I understand that. But please, when we schedule a meetup, please be in the moment. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
I wanna talk to my friend because I missed them. I miss you. That's why I wanna see you and I wanna hear your stories. Tell me your story. I don't wanna see you texting in front of me. And the thing that I have another bigger issue, I have a lot of issues on this one, is when they never forget to take pictures and post on social media, and then they will put a caption, catching up with an old friend, but in reality or in truth, there were no catching up. I feel so old having this kind of mindset and feelings, but this is my genuine take on this topic. I mean, I'm very sensitive when it comes to real connection. I really crave for that. That's why I always love looking at old people. The old people that we know, like when they are in a gathering or when they see each other on the street. They don't have phones, but when they talk, they take time. They sit down. They laugh their hearts out, and they pay attention. They are present and they listen. So when they go home, when they tell us their story, they're very detailed. They don't forget things, unlike us. We're younger, we have bigger circles, but we're not present almost always. It's like, okay, we're just there for the sake of being there, but our mind is somewhere else. So that's my experience. What about you, Patricia?
I agree. I've experienced very similar situations where people have been distracted. And I also understand because I've been distracted as well. And it is very tempting to not bother. And like you said, if you have made an appointment to be there for that meeting, you best be prepared for it, to put your phone away and to give them your attention, or reschedule if something's on your mind. I mean, we're all in the same page. We're all having the same, similar at least, challenges. And that means that if you say, I'm not emotionally ready for this meetup, I think I'm going to be really understanding, and we can meet when you're emotionally ready. And that is why, Roma, I appreciate and value and treasure our relationship, because when I told you that I'm not ready for a particular topic, and girl, you were so understanding, and you said, okay, we'll just get to that whenever we're comfortable, or whenever we can deal with it at that time. And that showed me that you were actively listening to me. And girl, we weren't talking. That was a text message.
Yes.
Right? You felt me. You were listening to my emotion through text. And what you said about old people, that doesn't happen anymore because we are so distracted. We don't look at people in the eyes anymore. We don't, smile at each other. We don't appreciate each other's facial expressions anymore. Everything is always about hiding away from it. And I think we've become very comfortable with that. Hiding our true emotion. We don't want people to read us. We don't want people to get us. And as much as we crave for connection, that's the very thing that's going to take away that connection.
Yeah.
You know, it
that is
hampers the active listening. It hampers the opportunity for us to be empathetic towards one another. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, that the COVID has its ups and downs. You know, the pandemic has stopped me from enjoying my business to its maximum potential. But the upside to all of this is, you know, meeting you in this capacity and meeting some of my other pop sisters and my other friends online and seeing that, hey, these are my friends who really care. These are my friends who are actually interested in knowing what's going on in my life and checking up on me, calling me and saying, how are you today? Are you okay? Or sending a text and being like, hey, Pat, are you doing well today? Are you okay? Or how's your day going? I really appreciate it. And whoever's listening here, you know who you are because you do this for me. You check up on me, and I know that you invest in our relationship. And that shows me that you are actively listening to me. It doesn't necessarily have to be a face-to-face. It doesn't have to be necessarily through a call, even through text messages. And I think that's what this pandemic has done for us. You know, it helps us to adapt and evolve our skill in listening, that it goes beyond just words in terms of speaking them, you know, face-to-face. But with all that said, I do miss meeting people in person, having a cup of coffee with them and giggling and looking at the sparkle in their eyes.
without the fear of, you
Yes.
know, putting yourself in danger or putting other people in danger. Also, in my opinion, I feel that paying attention in this age of social media, just like what you said, you know, having that connection, it has become more challenging because I feel that it's always about me. I'm sort of guilty of that too. I admit it. You also have to admit that sometimes you only care about the things that we do and the people don't read their friends' captions or posts. You know, you just go past through it because, well, it happens. And that's why they always say that your caption must get your audience attention within 5 seconds. Imagine 5 seconds. That's even shorter than attention span of a goldfish, which is 9 seconds. It's like the attention span of people is getting shorter and shorter. And the more that we use our social media, we sort of become, can I say, more selfish in a way? Because, like, for example, I should have this amount of followers. I should do this to get the attention. My next post must be like this to have more likes, and removing the posts with few likes. When that happens, we're too focused on ourselves, it can also be a bad thing. You know, that quote unquote connection that you said earlier, it actually defies the purpose of that. Defies the supposed to be the purpose of social media, and that is to connect. It's unknowingly we're isolating ourselves, and all we care about is thumbs up and the hearts and the likes, you know, be viral, be an internet sensation. And somewhat it leads us to dissatisfaction because we want to have that 5 to 15 seconds of fame and attention. And well, again, I'm guilty of this, and we're all guilty of this, you know, because we all wanted at some point in our lives, we want to feel that, how does it feel to be famous or, you know, be viral and all. But what we fail to realize is that when we listen and pay attention, an example, they posted a black photo on their Instagram. For some, they would just you know, look past it. But if you're intently listening or paying attention, you would realize, why did he or she posted a black photo? Did someone die? Is she going through an emotional rough patch? You check on the friend. Hey, are you okay? Is something going on? If you're really intently listening or paying attention. But if you don't, then you just go past through that post. It's just another post, like, you know, scrolling, because you don't care. You don't want to listen. You don't want to spend time understanding what's going on with that friend. So that's what I'm saying.
That also shows who your real friends are. I'm sorry to say this, but if you have been scrolling through your friends' post without reading their caption or looking at what's going on in their lives, I think they're not your friend, or they're not as important to you as you thought that they are. And then again, we see the pandemic's ups over here, who your real friends are. And even for you on the other side, you know who is important to you by how much attention you give to them. And I agree, sometimes we are selfish and self-obsessed. And the pandemic is also encouraging us to have like negative thoughts, wanting us to have the focus to be all about me, I, myself, and I, This also just keeps tying back to all of the other episodes, Roma, and I love how all our topics are interlaced together. Meditation, self-awareness, all of these things are really important, because if you are finding that your Instagram likes and your 15 seconds of fame are more important than building a relationship with your friend, all right, so let's go back to those episodes and see, what we need to work on, because it has to start with ourselves, So for me, it comes back to the whole point of, can you hear me versus am I listening as well?
Mm-hmm.
So when I went through such a hard time, when my parents didn't really hear me out, or when my bosses didn't really hear me out, we were talking about how to strategize getting our thoughts across to people.
Yeah.
And I think if we do not listen to them, that's also going to backfire at us in a way that they're not going to listen to us, because first of all, we are not on the same page, and that's also with friends here, Roma. And I think you would agree with me that if you and a friend that you think is your friend are not in the same page, you're not having a connection. And honestly, why would you want to force something that isn't there?
Yeah, we don't have to force relationships. And I agree, but I also realize that that's why people listen, or those people who would intentionally listen, they are the ones who are not heard. Maybe they've experienced not being heard, so that's why they don't want other people to feel that. Because I feel that for both of us, since it happened to us, we don't want other people to feel bad. That's why when they say, hey, I want to talk to you, we intentionally, or we listen with intent. It's because we want to be there. We don't want them to feel unheard, right? And listening is a skill. It is a skill, okay? You need to stop, you need to take your time, and you have to focus, because if not, you might miss the important details. And sometimes the subtle information are the most important ones. And you need to listen to get cues. It will help you respond better. Like I said earlier, there will be fewer assumptions, therefore fewer misunderstandings. So it's like your relationship, whether it's romantic, professional, or it's a friendship type of relationship, it will be there will be less misunderstanding and less arguments. It's because you listen. It's like, okay, I won't react because I'm trying to listen. Okay, this is how I will respond, right? So that's why I think it's really important to talk about listening. And sometimes even on marriage, on friendship, like like what they say, familiarity brings contempt. It's like we assume that, no, I know this person, I've been living with this person for 15 years, I know how he thinks. But sometimes, no, we don't. Sometimes we just have to listen and just take it in and realize that maybe they changed, maybe something is bothering them, maybe it's not the way it used to be 10 years ago. So no matter where you are, no matter how long have you been together, listening is a very important part of a relationship. That's why we are talking about this right now. And also professionally, it's important, because for example, you have a client, they have demands. Like sometimes they say things because they can't really say it, but if you listen with intent, you will understand that, okay, maybe they don't really want to say it word per word, but I get what they want to tell me. And I want to go back to the example that you mentioned earlier, Patricia, when you were not ready to have that topic for the podcast. Actually, the thing is, she did not mention it, but because I'm very observant. That's my thing. So that week she was like, oh, she was doing her thing, like the usual Patricia, pop star Pat, she's doing her usual thing. But I can tell when I look at her videos, her eyes are not smiling. So I was like, girl, there must be something wrong. But I don't want to ask questions because I might be overstepping and all. And it's a personal thing. And if she's not opening up, I won't ask her. When she's ready, then I'm gonna listen. So when I pitched in the topic, and it took her longer than usual to respond, I sent another text. But if you're not ready, then let's go pick another topic. And she was like, "Yeah, girl, I don't think I can handle this topic for now." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of know." And then she opened up, and you see, you won't. For me, I can't do that. I won't be that sensitive to her if I didn't listen and if I did not pay attention. So yeah, and it's like a week. It took me the whole week to actually observe her and see. This is Patricia smiling, but I know she's really not 100% happy. She must be going through an emotional thing. I don't know, but all I know is that she's not her 100%. But it's okay, just let her be. She needs to tend to her things, and if it's really not working for her, well, as a friend, you have to help her. Okay, if it's not working for you, then okay, let's do something else. So that's what I'm saying. You have to listen with intention. You have to pay attention.
I really appreciate it, Roma. I appreciate it so much that you took the time to see my lack of the true smile. You took the time to ask me about the topic. You took the time to listen really to what I was saying or not saying.
Yes.
And guys, Roma and me, we don't like talk every day.
Yes.
Most of our conversation is through text. And for Roma to actually pick up on my mood and to pick up on my emotion through text and by just seeing my Instagram videos or stories, I mean, girl, you impressed me. You literally leveled up in my friend circle.
Yeah.
We are so glad that you identify with what we're going through. And I know that even this topic resonates so close to your heart because, I mean, we are guilty of it. You've experienced it. But everything is just beautiful because it adds to the learning, it adds to the growth, only if you choose that. So it boils down to choosing, it boils down to choosing to listen. It boils down to choosing to put your phone away or taking that time to read your friend's caption, taking the time to look at their stories or what kind of quotes they're putting up on their pictures or statuses. Sometimes I have some of my friends who, if they're going through a hard time, I don't see their display picture on their WhatsApp. And that's where I have a choice to ask them or let them be. And you will know what to do. Only if you listen, not trying to be all like, oh my gosh, I want to save the day. Okay, what's up? Speak to me, talk to me. I mean, that's not going to get us anywhere. Let's be realistic. It has to be with a lot of listening. Would they be in the mood to talk about it or not?
Yeah. And you have to respect that.
Yes.
You don't have to push so hard. It's just that you have to be sort of sensitive because again, the world does not revolve around you. So you ain't the sun, honey. Like what we said in the first episode. You ain't the sun. So yeah, you have to also be sensitive with the things around you, with the people, what's going on with the people around you. So yeah, so I guess that's it. So in closing, what would you like to impart to our listeners?
Roma, this is honestly the favorite part of all our podcast series, the wrapping up or the conclusion, if you'd like to say. And the thought that came to my mind is do not listen with the intent to reply, but listen with the intent to understand.
Oh my gosh, girl.
Where's the tissue box?
We have the same notes. Okay, and that ends this. I'm gonna repeat what she
Brilliant.
said. Yeah, I know. We're like, okay, same zone.
Always.
Always. Okay, but I'm gonna I'll be a bit flowery with my words today. So, I just want to say to our listeners, I just want to say to our listeners that hearing and listening are two different things, and what separates these two is the intention. Hearing is a basic human function. It's part of the five senses. We hear sounds all the time. We hear a baby cry, a car engine, a laugh. But when we hear with intention, then it becomes listening. And when we listen, there's the purpose to understand. So, for example, we hear a baby cry, but when we listen, we get to understand if that's because the baby's hungry, irritated, or trying to get her sleeping position. Or when we hear someone laugh, we know it's a laughter. We know it's laughter, but when you listen, you realize sometimes it's a fake laugh. Maybe because the moment got awkward and the only thing to do is, give a fake laugh. And again, when you're aware of it, you can respond better and it will be less awkward. And when we listen and pay attention to social media, we become less self absorbed and realize that collaborations and working with other people will actually unleash our creativity more. So, just like how Patricia said it, listen not to reply, but with the intent to understand. That's all for us today. So, thank you so much for listening. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And once again, this is Empowered, brought to you by the Roma Miclat podcast. I am your host, Roma.
And Patricia.
We hope you have a wonderful week. And until our next episode,